To critics who say climate action is too expensive, Greta Thunberg responds, "If we can save the banks, we can save the world."
Here's a summary of the article.
During an event in New York City Monday night with author and environmentalist Naomi Klein, 16-year-old Swedish activist Greta Thunberg had a simple message for those who claim it is too expensive to boldly confront the climate crisis with sweeping policies like a Green New Deal. "If we can save the banks," said Thunberg, "we can save the world. If there is something we are not lacking in this world, it's money," she added. Thunberg arrived in New York late last month after nearly 2 weeks of sailing across the Atlantic. The young environmentalist made the journey ahead of the September 20 global climate strikes, which she helped inspire through persistent activism that has included directly confronting world leaders and elites over their role in the planetary emergency. The strikes, which are expected to bring millions to the streets in over 150 countries, will coincide with the United Nations Summit on Climate Change on September 23 in New York. "I want world leaders to feel like they have too many people watching them."
This post received a score of 10,159, with an upvote ratio of 88%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
Jesus, yes. Do the math, no livable world, no banks, no human wealth, and no happy life.
The thing is, we have no problem spending all this money on major wars. If the world mobilized and invested like it did for World War II, we could easily turn the global economy around. But of course no one wants to make sacrifices like that for a threat that sounds distant and far away, so we'll face a worse threat later.
Would anyone really have to change much if the amount sown on wars was used on climate investments? It would involve restructuring large parts of infrastructure to allow for more public transport which everyone would need to use. You should also not just consume shit like you do now. Shit like that is something that needs to come from us. What doesn't need to come from us and what we personally shouldn't notice is stuff like clean energy, more efficient production methods, less waste at production, less pollution at winning raw materials for the goods, stuff like that.
That's putting it mildly. iPhones and glitzy items are not the main cause of global warming, basic staples like food and energy and transportation are. We can keep our iPhones but we have to reduce our mobility and diet. Nothing in history of this scale has ever come from the collective action of individual choice. It's government regulation or nothing.
Throwaway consumerism is a big piece of the pie. You can keep your iPhone, but you don't need to upgrade it every year.
Almost nobody upgrades their phone every year. This is a commonly repeated, inaccurate trope. 2%, according to Gallup. What you call throwaway consumerism might just better be called consumerism.
How expensive will it be when there's more and more natural disasters to clean up every year? Or more energy required during heat waves in the summer or extreme cold in the winter?
Doing nothing about climate change is the most expensive of all options.
This is obvious to anyone who understands how dead weight loss works with externalities and doesn't outright reject the science.
Just to tag along, I assume that the title in the op refers to the 2008-2009 bank bailouts. Those also made the U.S. government money. I feel it is important that this fact is also clear. We are comparing two long-term investment projects with each other. Not two money-burning exercises.
Let's get to work on those nuclear reactors.
Really the best medium-term option right there. This whole comment section needs a big S. If I understand the comments correctly, the only problem with the Black Death was that it was too limited in range and scope. Even Thanos is reading these suggestions and going, damn, dude, that's cold.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.